Welcome to HD Rare Coins, your ultimate source for rare coins, fascinating history, and the thrill of discovery. From legendary pennies to hidden gems, we explore the world of numismatics one amazing coin at a time. In the final year of the 20th century, the United States was buzzing with anticipation. Y2K fears, dot-com booms, and the turning of the millennium had the world in a frenzy of preparation and wonder. Amidst this global atmosphere of change and uncertainty, the U.S. Mint carried on with its quiet, methodical tradition of producing billions of coins to fuel the economy, each one small, ordinary, and easily overlooked. Among those was the 1999 Roosevelt Dime, a tiny 10-cent piece struck in Philadelphia, destined for everyday use. But what most people didn't know was that nestled among the billions of coins that year were a few that would defy their humble face value and enter the elite world of numismatic treasure. The Roosevelt dime has been a staple of American coinage since 1946, introduced to honor President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a man who led the nation through both the Great Depression and World War II. His fight against polio inspired the March of Dimes campaign, and after his death, the dime was the natural tribute. By 1999, the Roosevelt design had remained largely unchanged for over 5 decades. The obverse still bore the familiar, dignified profile of FDR, sculpted by John R. Sinek, while the reverse featured the torch flanked by an olive branch and oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. In that year, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 1.7 billion dimes. That massive mintage might suggest that the 1999 dime is just another ordinary coin. But coin collectors know that rarity is not always about low production. Sometimes, value comes from something more elusive, errors, conditions, and the stories that coins carry. And the 1999 Roosevelt dime is a perfect example of that quiet, hidden potential. For many collectors, the 1999 Roosevelt dime represents a transition point. It was one of the last dimes minted entirely within the 20th century and one of the last before the explosion of interest in state quarters began to shift public attention away from other denominations. As a result, many dimes from this year slipped through unnoticed, uncollected, and unexamined, until years later, when their secrets began to emerge. One of the most captivating aspects of the 1999 dime is its proof-like finish in certain examples. Though not intended to be proofs, some coins from this year, particularly early strikes from fresh dies, exhibit unusually high-quality surfaces with strong luster and mirrored fields. These proof-like business strikes are incredibly hard to find in circulation, but a few manage to survive, tucked away in rolls or forgotten coin jars. When graded in mint state 67 or higher, these dimes begin to demand serious attention from collectors, and then there are the errors, those beautiful accidents that turn routine production into numismatic magic. Off-center strikes, broad strikes, double strikes, and clipped planchets have all been discovered on 1999 dimes. Perhaps the most famous of them is the missing clad layer error. This happens when the thin outer layer of copper-nickel fails to bond to the coin's zinc core, leaving the coin with a dull, pale, copper-colored appearance. These errors are striking to behold and can easily be missed by the untrained eye. A 1999 dime with a full missing clad layer in high grade can command over $500, and examples with the error on both sides are even more valuable. Yet perhaps the most thrilling story tied to this coin is that of a collector in Ohio who, in 2011, was sorting through rolls of change he had picked up from a local bank. Among the hundreds of dimes he examined, one stood out. It was perfectly centered, had a shimmering finish unlike any other, and upon closer inspection, it was slightly thicker than usual. A trip to the local coin shop and a few tests later revealed the truth. This dime had been struck on a foreign planchet, possibly intended for another country. That coin would later sell at auction for nearly $300, a staggering price for a coin that had once cost only 10 cents, but beyond the errors and the rarities lies another powerful force: condition. Most coins in circulation take a beating, scratches, dings, and wear dull their luster and reduce their value. But the few that escape into private hands early, the ones kept in rolls or folders, can remain in pristine state. For the 1999 Roosevelt dime, any coin graded MS68 or higher is considered exceptionally rare. As of now, less than 10 examples have ever been graded MS68 FB, full bands, by PCGS. That designation, full bands, means that the horizontal bands across the torch on the reverse are sharply struck and fully separated, a mark of extraordinary quality. These coins regularly fetch over $1000, and one perfect MS69 example, discovered in 2020, sold privately for $2,850. Collectors often wonder what makes a modern coin like the 1999 P Dimes so special. After all, it's not silver. It's not old. It's not rare by mintage numbers. But the truth is, numismatics is not just about age or composition, it's about the hunt, the story, the condition, and the mystery. A coin that survives unnoticed, in flawless shape, through decades of circulation is a miracle in itself. And when you pair that with unique errors or high aesthetic appeal, you have something truly collectible. There are stories still unfolding about this dime. A man in Florida who inherited a box of coins from his father recently uncovered a near-proof-like 1999 P dime in a plastic flip. He had no idea it was worth more than pocket change until a coin dealer noticed it during a routine appraisal. It graded MS68 FB, and he was offered $1,600 on the spot. He declined. That dime now sits in a safety deposit box, not for sale, but cherished as a family heirloom. And so, we come to the final question: how much is your 1999 P dime worth? If it's heavily circulated and shows wear, it's still worth 10 cents. But if you find one that gleams, one that shows sharp details and untouched surfaces, it might be worth $50, $200, or even over $1,000, depending on its grade. And if you're lucky enough to find an error, like a missing clad layer, a broad strike, or an off-metal planchet, you might be holding a dime worth thousands. In a world where value is often measured by flash and fame, the 1999 P Roosevelt dime teaches a quiet lesson. Sometimes, the greatest treasures are the ones hiding in plain sight, tiny, overlooked, but filled with history, beauty, and unexpected worth. So check your change, look a little closer, and remember, in the world of coins, even the smallest piece can tell the biggest story. The 1999 P Roosevelt dime, though modest in appearance, has managed to leave its mark in ways that still surprise even seasoned collectors. It's not a coin that announces itself loudly. It doesn't gleam with gold or boast a low mintage. It doesn't carry the legend of a key date or have the notoriety of a 1909 SVDB cent. But what it does carry is subtle intrigue, a quiet presence in the coin world that has aged gracefully, revealing more depth and value as time passes. Stories began to pile up in forums and collector circles, where ordinary people shared tales of accidental fortune. A young woman in Arizona recalled cleaning out her late grandfather's desk drawer and stumbling upon a tightly packed roll of dimes. Nothing seemed unusual at first, but one coin felt different in her hand. Its edge was smooth, missing the expected reeded ridges that dime collectors refer to as the coin's grip. It turned out to be a smooth-edge broadstrike, a rare mint error where the coin is struck without the retaining collar. That dime was later graded and sold for just under $900, all from a dusty drawer in a forgotten corner of the house. The Roosevelt design, at first glance, seems simple. But there's elegance in that simplicity. The way Roosevelt's profile is centered, his gaze strong yet contemplative, was intentional. It speaks to his leadership and resolve. The reverse, the flaming torch flanked by olive and oak branches, symbolizes liberty, peace, and strength, three values Roosevelt upheld throughout his presidency. On high-grade examples of the 1999 P dime, these design elements come alive. You can trace every strand of hair, every contour of the torch's flames, and every fine line between the oak leaves. The craftsmanship of the coin is often lost on those who never pause to look. Then there's the matter of strike quality. Not every 1999 P dime was struck with equal force or clarity. As dies began to wear down or became misaligned late in their production cycle, coins took on softer details and slight warping. That's why full bands designations matter so much. Those raised horizontal lines across the torch are the first to fade when a die loses sharpness. Coins with perfectly separated bands mean they were struck early in a die's life cycle, with pristine equipment and clean pressure. They are the elite among an otherwise common field that in recent years, third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC have started to see more submissions of the 1999 P dime. Some collectors, hopeful and patient, have been submitting dozens, even hundreds, of raw coins in search of the elusive MS68FB. The price difference between a coin graded MS67 and MS68 can be dramatic. What might be a $200 coin at MS67 could jump to $1,200 or more at MS68FB. The reason? Condition rarity. Even though over 1 billion were minted, coins that survive in gem condition with perfect band detail are like finding needles in a haystack, and sometimes, the coin's story doesn't end with its physical attributes. Consider the mysterious case of the double denomination strike, a numismatic marvel where a 1999 P. Roosevelt dime was accidentally struck over a pre-struck penny. The result? A bizarre, mind-bending blend of Lincoln's image ghosting through Roosevelt's face, with design elements from both sides clashing in copper and nickel chaos. That coin, authenticated and encapsulated, sold at a major auction house for over $12,000, becoming one of the most valuable 1999 P dimes known to exist. In another instance, a man in Michigan purchased a mixed bag of foreign coins and tokens at a flea market for just $5. As he sorted through the pile at home, he came across what he assumed was a foreign coin due to its odd coloring and size. Closer inspection revealed it was a 1999 P. Roosevelt dime struck on a foreign blank, smaller than usual and with a yellowish hue. Experts believe it may have been a planchet intended for a coin minted for another country under U.S. contract. That unique error fetched $3,800 at a specialty coin auction. What keeps collectors coming back to the 1999 P dime isn't just the hunt for treasure, it's the emotional attachment, the sense of discovery, the thrill of turning something mundane into something magical. For many, the dime is a reminder that value isn't always measured by weight or size. Sometimes, it's measured by chance, condition, and circumstance. In 2018, most people didn't notice the dimes jingling in their pockets or dropped into vending machines. They were small, common, and often overlooked, just another coin, part of the everyday noise of modern life. But for a few curious minds, coin collectors and keen-eyed hobbyists, the 2018 P. Roosevelt dime offered something more. Beneath its modest silver-toned surface was a story of American history, intricate craftsmanship, and potential hidden value. The P mint mark, stamped from the Philadelphia Mint, was subtle but significant, an emblem of tradition continuing in the digital age. The Roosevelt dime, first struck in 1946, had long been a tribute to a president whose leadership during the Great Depression and World War II earned him a place in the hearts of millions. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, a man whose strength defied polio, had become a symbol of resilience, and the dime that bore his profile carried that spirit forward through generations. The 2018 P dime was no different in intent. It followed the same design crafted by John R. Sinnock all those decades ago, with Roosevelt's left-facing portrait on the obverse. His sharp, determined gaze, the meticulous rendering of his hair, and the fine lettering around his head, all etched into that tiny 10-cent coin, showed the enduring legacy of a design that had stood the test of time. On the reverse, the iconic imagery of a torch flanked by olive and oak branches remained. These three symbols, liberty, peace, and strength, told the silent story of America's post-war ideals. Every line, every detail was deliberate, and even though billions were made, each coin had the potential to be unique. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 1 billion 2018 Roosevelt dimes. With such an enormous mintage, it would be easy to assume there's nothing rare or valuable about them. But that assumption would be a mistake. For collectors, the magic lies in the anomalies, the pristine specimens, and the rare errors that slipped through unnoticed. Not all 2018 P dimes were created equal. Some emerged from the presses with dramatic die clashes, off-center strikes, or missing clad layers, tiny variations that turned ordinary coins into extraordinary finds. One collector in Minnesota discovered a 2018 P dime with a double die on the obverse. Roosevelt's eye appeared shadowed, and parts of the lettering seemed to echo. After careful verification, that dime sold online for over $375. Another collector from Florida stumbled upon a dime with a full missing clad layer, revealing a dull copper surface beneath the usual nickel finish. That error coin, because of its dramatic appearance and scarcity, fetched $650 at a regional coin show. Then there's the hunt for perfection, mint state gems that shine under a microscope. While billions of dimes are struck, only a small fraction leave the mint without a single flaw. These are the coins sought after by those who submit to grading services like PCGS and NGC. An MS-68 or MS-69 Roosevelt dime from 2018 might not seem like a big deal, until you realize how few exist. A top-graded dime with full bands designation, meaning the torch on the reverse has sharply defined, fully separated horizontal lines, can leap in value dramatically. One such 2018 P dime, graded MS-68FB, recently sold for $1,200 at auction, setting a record for modern dimes of this type. And then there's the story of a young collector who, using only a magnifying glass and his bedroom lamp, spotted a dime in his change jar that looked a little too perfect. He sent it in for grading and received back a coin rated MS-69FB, near perfect in every way. That single dime, once destined to be spent on a soda, now sits proudly in a protective slab, worth more than $2,800. Yet beyond condition and error, the value of the 2018 P dime lies in what it represents. It's a symbol of consistency, a continuation of a legacy that began in the mid-20th century. In a year marked by political shifts, global tensions, and technological leaps, this small coin connected Americans to their history. It traveled from mint bags to bank rolls, from register tills to kitchen countertops, quietly witnessing the lives of millions. It paid for coffees, covered parking meters, and waited patiently in donation jars, all while carrying Roosevelt's enduring message of hope and perseverance. And now, as more collectors begin to recognize the value in newer coins, the 2018 P dime is gaining attention. People are digging through jars and rolls, inspecting details, and submitting their best finds to grading services. What was once thought of as too modern to matter is quickly becoming a key date for modern coin enthusiasts. The demand is growing. Online forums light up with new discoveries. Social media posts showcase shimmering dimes in freshly opened mint rolls. Dealers add top-graded examples to their inventory with pride. And every so often, a coin once believed to be worth just 10 cents changes hands for thousands of dollars. These are the stories that breathe life into the world of numismatics. They remind us that treasure isn't always buried or locked away, it can be found in the most unexpected places, even at the bottom of your purse or stuck between couch cushions. So, what is your 2018 P Roosevelt dime really worth? If it's scratched, worn, or tarnished, it's still worth spending. But if it's crisp, sharp, and gleaming, it might be time to look closer. Because somewhere out there, among the billions, are a few special coins, errors, high grades, and perfect strikes, that have already proven they can sell for hundreds, even thousands. And maybe, just maybe, one of those dimes is already in your pocket. The journey of the 2018 P Roosevelt dime didn't just begin and end at the U.S. Mint. Its real journey began the moment it was released into circulation. Across cities and small towns, through the hands of business owners and shoppers, the dime moved silently, never revealing the secret it might hold. Some were pulled early and placed in fresh rolls, purchased by collectors who had a feeling, just a hunch, that modern coins were worth watching. Others lived full, rough lives, scratched and battered in pockets, machines, and drawers, their details slowly fading with time. But it's those early caught gems, the dimes that escaped wear entirely, that hold an extraordinary allure. Collectors began to take notice that 2018 P dimes had certain quirks. While many appeared standard at first glance, under magnification, some revealed astonishing abnormalities. There were coins with rotated dies, where the reverse was slightly tilted in comparison to the obverse. These weren't common, and while minor rotations might not fetch headlines, significant ones, over 90 degrees, could easily bring in hundreds from eager collectors who specialized in such errors. Then came the reports of struck-through grease errors. During high-speed production, grime and debris sometimes clog dies, and the result is a coin missing entire design elements, such as Roosevelt's eye, or part of the torch flame. In circulated condition, these errors might go unnoticed, but when they appeared on brilliant, uncirculated coins, their uniqueness made them immensely desirable. A struck through 2018 P dime missing part of the word Liberty sold privately for over $400 to a collector focused on modern mint mistakes. The rise of coin roll hunting in the 2010s and 2020s gave new life to the Roosevelt Dimes series. With thousands of hobbyists taking to banks, requesting boxes of coins, and documenting their finds online, the 2018 P quickly became a focus. Its high mintage gave plenty of opportunities for discovery, and stories began to surface of people finding near-perfect coins tucked away in original bank rolls. Some documented their finds on YouTube, showing off coins still gleaming as if they'd just left the mint. One such video went viral when a hunter pulled a perfectly centered, flawless dime with strong strike and deep frost on the portrait. After grading, it returned as an MS-68FB. Offers came in from multiple buyers, but the coin wasn't sold. It became a badge of honor, proof that treasure still existed in modern circulation.